Living with 3 zeros. Iraq's currency journey and what it means for you. It hit me today. A realization, maybe even a moment of clarity. You ever think about what it means to carry around currency that has 3 extra zeros on every note for 10 straight years? It sounds surreal, like something out of an economic dystopia. But this isn't fiction. This is the real, current experience for millions of people, especially in Iraq. And if you think it's about to end soon, think again. There are some signs, from policies to market behavior, that suggest this could be our normal for another decade. So let's dive deep into this situation. Whether you're someone who holds Iraqi dinar, lives in Iraq, invests in the currency, or is just financially curious, this breakdown is for you. We're going to talk about what those zeros mean, how they affect everyday life, why the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, may be keeping them intentionally, and what you can do to be prepared. What are the 3 zeros? When we talk about 3 zeros, we're referring to the inflated denominations of the Iraqi dinar. You've likely seen banknotes worth 10,000, 25,000, or even 50,000 dinars. These large numbers aren't because Iraqis are rich, quite the opposite. High denomination notes often indicate that a country's currency has weakened over time, and inflation or devaluation has led to bigger numbers being printed to maintain purchasing power. Other countries, when faced with similar economic challenges, have decided to drop those zeros. It's called redenomination. They simply chop off the excess digits, so instead of carrying a 25,000-unit bill, you'd have a 25-unit note with the same value. Iraq has talked about doing this for more than a decade, but as of today, those zeros are still very much alive, and according to certain economic indicators and internal policies, they might be staying longer than most anticipated. Why keep the zeros? At first glance, keeping the large denominations seems inefficient and confusing. Why make people deal with so many digits for basic purchases? But there's actually a method behind the decision. Let's flip the perspective. What if holding on to those zeros is actually a strategic move? Imagine this. You go to a supermarket and you see 2 price tags. One reflects the current value, say 25,000 dinars. The other shows a future, redenominated value, 25 dinars. This is called dual pricing, and it's a transitional tool often used when preparing for a redenomination. Maintaining the 3 zeros for now makes dual pricing simpler and smoother to implement across the country. If the transition happened overnight, suddenly turning 25,000 dinars into just 25, it could lead to confusion, miscommunication, and distrust. The economy works best when people trust the system. Rushing through that change would risk shaking public confidence. By keeping both systems running for a while, maybe even up to 10 years, the government can train both the public and businesses to adjust gradually. The role of the central bank. So what is the Central Bank of Iraq doing in all this? Quite a bit, actually. Behind the scenes, the CBI has been trying to strike a careful balance between modernizing the country's economy and maintaining monetary stability. As Iraq slowly shifts towards digital payment systems, mobile apps, credit cards, and bank transfers, reliance on physical cash is shrinking. But here's the thing. The majority of the population still prefers cash, especially the larger, more familiar notes like the 25,000 dinar bill. That's where the tension lies. The CBI has been slowly pulling physical cash from circulation to encourage digital alternatives. However, this also creates a cash shortage on the ground. Imagine going to the bank or ATM and being told that the cash isn't available, even though your account has money. That kind of situation fuels frustration and, worse, breeds fear and panic. So by retaining the high denomination notes, the CBI can still issue fewer physical bills to meet larger transactional demands. It's more efficient for cash-based purchases and minimizes the strain on physical currency supply, especially in a society that is transitioning but not fully digital. The scarcity effect and public trust. When physical cash becomes scarce, people worry. It's a natural response. This worry can quickly escalate into hoarding behavior. People begin stashing cash at home, holding on to every bill they can get, just in case the system breaks down or they suddenly can't access their funds. This is the exact opposite of what the CBI wants. For an economy to function efficiently, money needs to circulate. If everyone is hoarding, the system clogs up. But if the bank prints too much to counteract this, they risk triggering inflation. More currency in circulation means more spending, and without a corresponding rise in goods and services, prices rise. That erodes purchasing power and leads to economic instability. We've seen it happen before. Just look at 2020 when governments worldwide printed enormous amounts of money during the pandemic. It helped in the short term, but led to inflation spikes shortly afterward. Iraq can't afford to make that mistake. That's why the CBI is choosing a slow, controlled process. Keeping the 3 zeros might not be about resistance to change. It might be about preserving order and preparing the ground for smoother, long-term economic evolution. How this impacts everyday life. Let's bring this down to the human level. For everyday citizens, especially those who rely on cash for their income or transactions, understanding what's happening with the currency is essential. You don't want to wake up one day and find out your bills are no longer accepted, or worse, that you missed the window to exchange them. This is why staying informed is critical. Watch what the CBI announces. Read up on local economic changes. Stay aware of digital currency shifts. If you're holding on to physical dinars, make sure you're prepared for what could happen in the next few years. For businesses, this might also mean adopting dual pricing strategies, listing prices both in the current dinar system and the potential future redenominated version. This helps educate customers, builds trust, and smooths out confusion during the transition. It shows that you respect your clientele's intelligence and are proactive about the change. The psychological factor. Money isn't just numbers, it's deeply psychological. When people see a 25,000 dinar bill, their brain reacts differently than when they see a 25 dinar note, even if the value is the same post-redenomination. Larger numbers create a feeling of abundance. That can lead to overspending, poor budgeting, and confusion about actual value. On the flip side, spending years getting used to those large numbers can prepare people for the shift. When the time comes to remove the zeros, they'll understand the value better and won't panic. Financial literacy improves when transitions are slow and steady. So yes, these next 10 years may feel drawn out, but this extended transition period might actually build a more financially aware population, one that knows how to calculate real value, understand inflation, and navigate a modern economy confidently. Global examples to learn. From this isn't just Iraq's story. Many countries have walked this road before. Zimbabwe experienced hyperinflation and had to reissue its currency several times, removing zeros along the way. Turkey cut 6 zeros from its lira in 2005. Argentina went through multiple currency reforms due to inflation. Every case is unique, but they all offer a similar lesson. Do it carefully or face chaos. Iraq is clearly learning from those experiences. It's laying the groundwork for a more stable, modern economy. Oil revenues are on the rise, foreign investment is picking up, and digital infrastructure is slowly being built. But none of that happens overnight. And the currency, with all its zeros, is right at the heart of that transition. Looking to the future. So what should you do today? 1. Stay educated. Read about the economy, follow the CBI's moves, and learn about digital payment trends. 2. Prepare financially. Don't rely entirely on cash. Diversify your assets and be ready for shifts in currency handling. 3. Talk to your family. Help your kids, friends, and older relatives understand what's happening. Knowledge spreads confidence. 4th, watch for dual pricing. If you run a business, consider implementing it early. It shows leadership and builds customer trust. 5. Think long-term. Don't expect sudden change. The 10-year strategy is about easing people into a new reality. Final thoughts. Imagine a future, 10 years from now, where you walk into a shop and everything is priced in clean, simple numbers. That item you used to see marked as 25,000 dinars? Now it says just 25. And people aren't confused. They're smiling, confident, and moving forward because the transition was handled wisely, and they understood it before it happened. That's the power of financial knowledge. That's what thoughtful economic planning can achieve. Keeping the 3 zeros might feel frustrating at times. It might seem like delay or stagnation. But maybe, just maybe, it's the scaffolding needed to build a stronger economy, brick by brick. If this helped you see things more clearly, share it with someone who might benefit. Let's all stay informed, aware, and ready. Because economic change affects all of us. And understanding it is the first step to mastering it.